evening and thank you for joining us here at GBS News at 9. My name is Beatrice Njeri. Our sign language interpreter is Adams Minor. And we have a lot lined up for you tonight. But first, here are the highlights.
Sisi tukiona tunanyama, iko siku tunafanyanga vile natakika.
From podium to pulpit, impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua turns to God and asks Kenyans to keep calm on whatever decision the court will make on his appeal, blocking Kindiki from being sworn in.
Due to the nature of the offense and how it was committed, the deceased family, friends and community are angry and they may harm the respondent if he is released.
Justice for Wells Fargo boss. Court rules 25-year-old suspect in the murder of Wells Fargo Human Resource Manager Willis Ayeko to be remanded in police custody for 21 days to allow the police to complete investigations.
I will undertake to subject it to the process of government. The Speaker is here. If it has to happen, it has to go all the way to Parliament. But I want to assure you that we will have made a decision by the next Diwali.
Special calendar day or not? Ruto leads Kenyans in celebrating Diwali. Talks of making the day national holiday come next year, same day, same time. Sporting response manager Ruben Amorim earmarked to replace fired Manchester United manager Eric Ten Hag in the dugout. Negotiation still ongoing by his current employers with United representatives. To begin our bulletin, the Kenya Primary School Education Assessment has successfully concluded, taking place from the 28th of October to the 30th, serving as the final examination for primary school students under the competency-based curriculum. The KPSEA consists of both formative and summative assessments. Meanwhile, Education Cabinet Secretary Migosi Ogamba has told the Senate that the Ministry of Education is ready for grade 9 learners starting January next year. The Cabinet Secretary, appearing before the Senate Plenary Committee, said the ministry has already undertaken an infrastructure needs assessment in schools and all learners will find the required materials for the grade 9 learning. Here are the details. The Kenya Primary School Education Assessment has successfully concluded, with assessments taking place from the 28th of October to the 30th. This assessment serves as the final examination for primary school students following the competency-based curriculum. The Kenya Primary School Education Assessment includes both formative and summative assessments designed to evaluate students' competencies comprehensively. Education Cabinet Secretary Migosi Ogamba, appearing before the Senate plenary, has today said that the Ministry of Education is ready for the grade 9 learners starting January next year. The Cabinet Secretary said the ministry has already undertaken an infrastructure needs assessment in schools and all learners will find the required materials for the grade 9 learning.
Question of how prepared we are, an assessment was done for this 1 million grade 9 students and we came up, the ministry came up with a requirement of 16,000 classrooms. The World Bank gave 12 billion shillings and the ministry is doing 11,000 classrooms. Out of the 11,000 classrooms that are going to be, they have been done in 2 tranches. Phase 1 was 3,500 and it's been completed. We are now in phase 2 dealing with 7,500. There is also a co-funding with the CDF where the ministry gave, I think, 3.4 billion and CDF 3.4 billion, making 7 billion. That is also going to do 6,000 classrooms, making a total of the 16,000 that are required. So we're in the process. We have done 3,500, 7,500, and the other 6,000 are in various stages of completion.
As of now, the government reports that progress is on track, with with classrooms at various stages of completion. All 16,000 classrooms are expected to be finalized by December 15th, ensuring that students have access to adequate learning facilities at the start of the school new year. The Cabinet Secretary further expressed confidence in the project's timeline, emphasizing the government's commitment to providing a conducive educational environment for all students. This initiative not only addresses immediate classroom shortages, but also reflects a long-term investment in the country's educational future.
Do you do those things? Or you're just saying them? One boy, have you helped a helpless?
Vocal Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who has always blasted his critics, has changed from political podiums into pulpit and directed his trust to God. The Deputy President, who attended a burial ceremony of the retired teacher Geoffrey Murugami, has asked Kenyans to keep calm on whatever decision that the court will make on his appeal blocking Kindiki from being sworn in. Davis Karani has the details.
The impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has kept his political status low after asking his followers to remain calm and maintain peace on whatever decision that the courts will make, regardless of what he is going through.
Unajua kuna watu walikuwa wanasema na huyu Rigathi Gachagua hana wafuasi Mlima Kenya, mbona watu watoki kwa barabara, hawakishi moto, hapigi kelele. Hiyo si tabia yetu. Sisi si watu ya kwenda barabara, sisi si watu ya kuhakisha tairi, sisi si watu ya kupiga kelele. Sisi tukiona tunanyama, iko siku tunafanyanga vile natakika.
The DP, who has been vocal on various occasions in his political rallies, is now maintaining a low profile after his former utterances costed him his position, leading to his impeachment.
Ati wanatafuta wajumbe, wanapatia pesa, ati walitoe kwa kiti ya naibu wa rais. Mmesikia hiyo maneno? Wenye kuchagua mimi ni nyinyi ama ni hawa? Wenye kuchagua mimi ni nyinyi ama ni hawa? Sisi tungetaka kuambia hawa, kama mko na shida na Rigathi Gachagua, mkuja mshitaki yeye kwa hawa na nchi hawa.
The Deputy President has appeared on several Saturdays and Sundays in churches seeking help from his creator, and his move to believe in a strong and turn into God is seen to be bearing fruits after part of his security was restored back to him.
We have faith that our judiciary will protect and uphold the Constitution of Kenya and will exercise fairness and give justice to Rigathi Gachagua and his supporters. That is our prayer. But I want to ask for peace, more so to my people of the Mount Kenya region. Please remain peaceful. Love one another. Stay well with all other regions and communities. They have not wronged us. They are our friends. Kenya is bigger than all of us. And we don't have another Kenya. We only have one Kenya. And I want to say, irrespective of what will happen, the outcome of the court process, let our people remain peaceful and build our country. A time will come for us to speak.
Is this the beginning of the impeached Deputy President's victory? The clock is ticking and days elapsing as the courts set themselves to make their final decision on Gachagua's case. Davis Karani, GBS News, Nairobi.
A major breakthrough in the investigation into the murder of Willis Onyango Ayeko, the former human resource manager at Wells Fargo. Authorities have arrested a suspect linked to this tragic case and is currently being held at Muthaiga Police Station, shedding new light on the events surrounding his death. Here is more on the same.
Authorities have made significant breakthrough arresting a suspect linked to the gruesome murder of the late Mr. Willis Ayeko, the former human resource manager at Wells Fargo, whose body was found dumped near a stream in Siaya County. CCTV footage later captured two men abandoning his vehicle at a police station in Sabatia, 60 kilometers away from where he was last seen attending a burial. The suspect, identified as Victor Ouma Okoth, was apprehended last night in Dandora Phase 4, Nairobi, where he had been hiding out. Reports indicate that he rented the property using proceeds from the alleged murder. The suspect is currently in custody at Muthaiga Police Station. Investigators confirmed that forensic analysis placed him at the scene of the crime, underscoring the thoroughness of the ongoing investigations. As the investigation progresses, authorities are actively pursuing additional leads to identify and apprehend other possible accomplices. Meanwhile, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations is requesting the public's assistance in locating Collins Jumaisi, who was linked to the murders at Mukuru Kwanjenga. Collins escaped from custody on August 20th, 2024, while awaiting murder charges. A substantial cash reward will be offered for any credible information that leads to his arrest. Triza Tiengo.
A 25-year-old suspect in the murder of Wells Fargo Human Resource Manager Willis Ayeko will be remanded in police custody for 21 days to allow the police to complete investigations, as a court has ruled. Victor Okoth Ouma, who was arrested at Dandora in Nairobi, will be detained at the Railways Police Station in Kisumu after the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, through the State Counsel Evan Soita, made a miscellaneous application to hold him. Soita had applied for 30 days, but Senior Magistrate Jacob Mkala ruled that it will be held for 21 days, adding that the case be mentioned on the 21st of November 2024. The development comes as the Directorate of Criminal Investigations confirmed the recovery of the late Ayeko's firearm and subsequent arrest of a second suspect, a woman who was in company of a man who escaped the following an exchange of fire at Wagai Game constituency. In his application, the council say the investigators needed time to piece together evidence and also go after the suspect's accomplices. He said there was need for Ouma to be held in custody for the security reasons, adding further that the suspect had a pending robbery with violence case in a Siaya court where police were investigating other offenses, reports made at Ugunja and Yala police stations. Soita further applied for court orders to compel Airtel Kenya to provide call logs and other details of the suspect's cell phone line in the investigation. The investigation officer, Inspector Oliver Nabonwa, told the court that the suspect was flushed out of his hideout in Nairobi's Dandora estate, where he had rented a house. He said Ouma was placed at the scene of crime through forensic analysis by a multi-agency task force comprising the DCI, police, and the Homicide Detectives Unit.
Was abducted and later where his body was discovered.
Was present.
His phone.
You say after preliminary investigations, the respondent herein was. The state submits that they are investigating the offense of murder contrary to section 203 as read with section 204 of the Penal Code. Further, that upon commission of the offense, the respondent ran away and hid in Dandora. Furthermore, due to the nature of the offense and how it was committed, the deceased family, friends, and community are angry and they may harm the respondent if he is released. It is for this, and therefore it is for his own safety that the respondent is held in custody. D, that the respondent shall be subjected to mental assessment. E, that this matter shall be mentioned on the 21st day of November 2024. It is so ordered. Was present.
His phone.
You say after preliminary investigations, the respondent herein was.
President William Ruto hosted Diwali celebrations at State House, Nairobi, bringing together Kenya's Hindu community to mark the Festival of Lights with additional Indian dances and cultural performances. During the event, Hindu community leaders requested that Diwali be declared a national holiday, joining other major religious celebrations observed as public holidays. President Ruto expressed the openness to the idea, promising to consider the request and make a decision by next year. Though noting it would require following legal procedures, he also assured the Asian community of their valued place in Kenya, pledging to protect religious freedoms and the right to worship for all Kenyans. Diwali, also known as Diwali, is India's most important holiday, celebrated between mid-September and mid-November to symbolize the triumph of light over darkness and good over evil. Unlike Christmas for Christians or Eid al-Fitr for Muslims, Diwali is currently not a public holiday in the country, though celebrations may last from 1 to 5.
Since those early days, the Hindu community has grown and flourished, contributing extensively to the Kenyan business, social, and political landscapes. In the business community, Your Excellency, Hindu leaders have been pioneering entrepreneurs and have made remarkable contributions to Kenya's economic progress.
Today, as we light our lamps, we affirm our shared wish for peace, prosperity, and unity in our beloved Kenya. Let our prayers and intentions turn towards a vision for Kenya where harmony prevails, where every citizen prospers, and where the brightness of peace shines unchallenged. Let this light be beacon for the entire nation, illuminating a future of abundance and unity.
Those celebrating this joyous occasion, and I have heard from Bimal your request on the issue of having Diwali as a national holiday. I will undertake to subject it to the process of government. The Speaker is here. If it has to happen, it has to go all the way to Parliament. But I want to assure you that we will have made a decision by the next Diwali. And let me also take this occasion to give you my assurance and that of the government of Kenya that we will protect by all means possible the sacred provision of the right to worship by all Kenyans and all religions. And that there will be no interference whatsoever. There will be no limitation.
Many thanks for joining this live broadcast. We have a lot lined up for you in our new segment tonight. But first, let us take a quick break. We'll be right back with even more.
Hello, everyone. I'm so much thankful to have this precious time to actually share with you the Word of God. When I was growing up and when I was attending church, my former church, I was taught that, although I'm saved, but as I, when I commit sin, I become a sinner. And then when I become a sinner, again, I repent my sin every day for it to be forgiven, so that I can be assured of salvation. But when I was living a life of trying to confess my sin each and every day, and believing that I'm a sinner, actually I could not have an assurance of my salvation in my heart. So I thought, and I was taught that my sin is, the deeds which I do outwardly. Until the time I came to realize, I've for sure, I'm a person who cannot really do good. The problem is not the deeds which I'm doing outwardly. The problem is the core. The core of my heart itself is evil. You know, Jesus, what he did, you know, he lived among us. And then he died on the cross because of our sin. And then he rose again. The reason why now he did not just resurrect and go to heaven, it is because of, you know, to meet the disciple and to witness that, you know, sin and death could not have any power in his life. He wanted to manifest that eternal life.
Wanasema afadhali nililie kwa Range Rover na nicheke kwa baiskeli.
Ndio sasa. So ukisikiza wengine anakuanga ni uongo. Wanataka kukuonyesha
ni
pia pressure. Mimi siwezi fanya, siwezi amka, akikuja late siwezi amka nimpatie chakula, siwezi fanya.
Is a friend of mine aliniambia yeye bwana yake ni mtu wa kununa. Yeye ana jam sometimes sijui anaweza maybe ameboeka huko kazini akikuja kwa nyumba amejam tu.
Mtu hata labda akulangi kama huyo mzee ajaingia kwa hiyo nyumba. Labda akulangi ama akisikia tu mlango ndio imeguzwa ako chini.
Hapo kutuitiwa unapelekwa mahali unaanza kuchapa mahesabu yako. Hii pesa ingelipa school fees. Tungenunua vitu zingine tuongezee kwa nyumba.
Then naturally hawajaumbwa watu wa kupayuka si kama sisi. Na thema unakaa na mtu unakaanga ukijua this person akiwa real ama akiwa na pressure fulani.
Bwanake mahali ameajiriwa kazi, boss wake ni sugar mami wake.
Alafu
everywhere. GBS.
Welcome back. You are still watching GBS News 9. Kenya's First Lady, Mama Rachel Ruto, recently attended the Merck Foundation First Ladies Initiative meeting in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, part of the 11th Africa-Asia Luminary 2024, aimed at addressing health challenges across Africa and Asia. In her speech, the First Lady highlighted the need for strong partnerships to support school feeding programs and health initiatives, linking nutrition directly to academic success. And I quote, "A plate of food is added strength for a child," end of quote, she noted, emphasizing the role of nutrition in empowering students. Mama Rachel Ruto also pointed out that around 46 million children in Eastern and Southern Africa are out of school due to poverty and conflict. She urged for renewed focus on foundational education and called on Merck Foundation to expand its More Than a Mother campaign to include children's health and school feeding programs. The event gathered First Ladies from Africa and Asia alongside over 6,000 healthcare providers, policymakers and media representatives, all focused on improving health outcomes. The Merck Foundation reaffirmed its commitment to healthcare capacity building through scholarships and training for professionals across 52 countries.
Many children are forced to drop out of school to help their families look for food and water for survival. Think of instances when the break time or lunchtime bell in school is a painful reminder to children that they are hungry without a solution in sight. We are turning this tide with an ambitious goal to end hunger in all our school children by the year 2030. We are partnering with schools and state and non-state actors to achieve the number of children enjoying a hot meal daily to 10 million children from the current 2.5 million children. Through the Feed One, End Hunger initiative, I have personally committed to taking care of 2 million children out of the gap of 7.5 million children who are yet to enjoy a school meal daily. This journey of empowering women taught me that even impacting one more person is not a wasted exercise. We have grown one woman, one group, one county at a time.
In a decisive effort to combat the growing challenge of drug trafficking, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations has launched a new training program for its officers. The basic counter-drug investigations course kicked off at the Nairobi Safari Club, aiming to equip law enforcement with essential skills to tackle evolving narcotics threats. Here are the details.
The Directorate of Criminal Investigations launched a significant training program to enhance the fight against drug trafficking in Kenya. At the Nairobi Safari Club, the Director of Training, Mr. Edwin Kamau, officially opened the basic counter-drug investigation course. This week-long program aims to equip DCI officers with essential skills in analytical techniques, information management, and undercover operations. In his address, Mr. Kamau also expressed gratitude to the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime for its support, particularly through the Global Maritime Crime Program, which played a vital role in providing resources for this initiative. This training marks a crucial step in enhancing the capabilities of law enforcement to combat drug trafficking effectively. The DCI is committed to ensuring its officers are equipped to handle the evolving landscape of narcotic crime. Triza Tiengo, GBS News.
In a significant ruling, Kenya's Supreme Court has reinstated the controversial 2023 Finance Act, delivering a crucial victory for President William Ruto's administration. The decision overturns an early appeals court ruling that deemed the finance law unconstitutional, allowing the government to proceed with the tax collection amidst ongoing economic challenges. Here is more on the same.
In a pivotal moment for Kenya's economy, the Supreme Court has upheld the controversial 2023 Finance Act, granting a significant victory to President William Ruto's administration. The Supreme Court stated, "We hereby set aside the Court of Appeals finding declaring the entire Finance Act 2023 unconstitutional." This ruling comes at a critical time for the Ruto administration, which has faced mounting pressure following widespread protests against the finance law. The 2023 Finance Act, which includes increased fuel taxes, a controversial housing levy, and higher top income tax rates, ignited unrest across the nation, resulting in tragic losses of over 60 lives during protests in June and July. In the light of the unrest, President Ruto withdrew this year's finance bill, causing a delay in an anticipated International Monetary Fund disbursement.
I will not sign the 2024 finance bill, and it shall subsequently be withdrawn.
The International Monetary Fund Executive Board is scheduled to review Kenya's eligibility for a new funding tranche in coming days, following the nation's compliance with the fund's stringent requirements. As the government moves forward with its fiscal policies, many Kenyans are left dealing with the implications of these tax increases on their daily lives. The coming days will be crucial as both the administration and citizens navigate this complex financial landscape. Irene Juguna, GBS News.
The EU on Tuesday announced a new increase of tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles on top of the current 10% currently levied on car imports. The extra taxes, set to enter into force no later than Thursday, were subject of much debate among EU members, with strong opposition from Germany and Hungary amid fears of an eventful trade war. Here is our story and more in business.
The European Union has decided to increase tariffs on Chinese-built electric vehicles to as much as 45.3% at the end of its highest-profile trade investigation that has divided Europe and prompted retaliation from Beijing. Just over a year after launching its anti-subsidy probe, the European Commission will set out extra tariffs ranging from 7.8% for Tesla to 35.3% for China's SAIC, on top of the EU standard 10% car import duty. The extra tariffs were formally approved and published in the EU's official journal on Tuesday, meaning they'll take effect on Wednesday. The Commission, which oversees EU trade policy, has said tariffs are required to counter what it says are unfair subsidies, including preferential financing and grants, as well as land and raw materials at below market prices. It says China's spare production capacity of 3 million EVs per year is twice the size of EU market. Given 100% tariffs in the United States and Canada, the most obvious outlet for the EVs is Europe. In other updates, Google parent Alphabet says its investments in AI are now paying off. On Tuesday, the tech giant beat profit forecasts to the third quarter and said sales at its cloud unit jumped by more than a third. The news drove Alphabet shares nearly 6% higher in after-hours trade. Google had been seen to lag rival Microsoft on AI, but it's now spending big to catch up. Hilary Kabila, GBS News.
Tourism and Wildlife Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano announced that the ministry will collaborate with the counties to revive tourism in the country. During a two-day working tour of Kilifi and Mombasa counties, Miano highlighted the government's target of attracting 5 million tourists by 2027. Meanwhile, security has been heightened in the Angata-Barikoi area of Transmara South County following intermittent clashes between two rival communities. Rift Valley Regional Commissioner Dr. Abdi Hassan visited troubled area and reported that the violence had resulted in 4 fatalities, numerous injuries, and destruction of large maize plantations. Paris Kego with more from the counties.
The Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife plans to collaborate with counties to revive Kenya tourism sector, according to Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano. During her two-day working visit to Kilifi and Mombasa counties, Miano revealed the ministry's ambitious goal of attracting 5 million tourists by 2027, up from the current 2 million.
We know that tourism can be the catalyst of economic empowerment in this country. It is a big employer. 70% of the people who work in the tourism sector are actually our youth. And so this is a very enabling sector. We are going to ensure that we have a very thriving tourism industry.
She emphasized that achieving this target will require robust marketing efforts, coordinated resource mobilization from all stakeholders to enhance tourism growth and infrastructure. The CS said the ministry will showcase counties' potentials in different world exhibitions. She urged them to ready their packages for easy marketing. Kilifi Governor Gideon Mongaro said he will bring together coastal counties and come up with a single marketing plan. The plan will include brochures and materials showcasing to the world places to visit.
Even today, if we want national government, if they are going anywhere and they want to market Kilifi, they must be able to have our brochures, our materials which they can use. So this all involves resources. It's two things to market Kenya and Kilifi, and you get very many tourists, then they have nowhere to stay, because we don't have the bed capacity.
Mr. Mongaro said Kilifi was currently experiencing bed shortages, adding that the expansion of Malindi Airport will be a game changer. Meanwhile, security have been beefed at Angata-Barikoi area in Transmara South Sub-County following on and off clashes between two warring communities. Speaking when he toured the area, Rift Valley Regional Commissioner Dr. Abdi Hassan said 4 people were killed, 10 injured, and several acreage of maize plantation destroyed in the clashes.
Tumekuwa na matatizo ya kiusalama kwa sababu ya mzozo wa shamba na wa ardhi. Tumekuwa na visa vingi ya watu kudungwa mishale, wengine kupigwa risasi, na wengine kupata matatizo ya kila aina.
He warned those who carry dangerous weapons like spears, arrows, and bows with the name of killing that they will not be spared in the ongoing operations.
There is no room for criminals to roam around pretending to be engaging in all these things. No one has defeated government. So we shall deal with them the way inatakikana. Kwa hivyo mimi sitaki kufocus sana, kwa sababu tutaenda kukutana na wenzetu ili tuweze kuhakikisha ya kwamba wananchi wanaishi kwa amani katika sehemu hii.
The RC, who was accompanied by the Rift Valley security team and county security team, warned that no stone will be left unturned until peace is restored in the area. Paris Kigo, GBS News.
Do keep your comments coming in through our SMS line 21144 and GBS TV Africa on all our social media handles. That report brings us to our international news, but first let us take a quick commercial break.
Hello friends,
Welcome to Kids Mind. This is the Coding Zone segment. My name is Andrew, and in this segment, I will be teaching you how to code. What comes into your mind when you hear the word coding? Coding is giving simple steps to a device so that it can follow these steps and give you an output. Coding is used to make apps, websites, animations, and even the games that you play on your phone or tablet.
The gift of a man will place you in a company of great men. Never fungulia mlango. What 2 things can you never eat for breakfast?
The fact that I started selling art, that's where the interest came in. Yeah, they know, yeah, this thing can pay. Kumbe.
And who has been your biggest cheerleader in your art journey?
My biggest?
Cheerleader. Ule mwenye anakuwa.
Oh yeah, I'm artist Victor Mtua. Facebook is Victor Mtua. Of course, the first time I sold my art at relatively 50K.
Ati?
Time niliuza art yangu like 50K.
Oh, Victor, kwanza before hata uoneshane watu paintings zako, nataka kuuliza, if I was to pay you, nikwambie like usiwahi chora tena, usiwahi paint tena, would you? Unaweza acha? You are famous, what will your stage name be?
My stage name?
Ungekuwa pale kwa stage, ungekuwa unajiintroduce kana nani?
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to the broadcast, and now to matters international news. Botswana goes to the polls on Wednesday in a vote that will determine whether ruling Botswana Democratic Party will extend its 58-year hold on power. Analysts say, however, that this time around it is hard to predict the outcome of the general election. The country faces tough times following a downturn in demand for diamonds, which are vital to its economy. Here are the details.
Botswana votes on Wednesday in an elections that will determine whether President Magwetsi Masisi secures a second term, with economic woes caused by declining diamond demand in focus. Masisi Botswana Democratic Party has governed the Southern Africa state since 1966 and remains the favorite to win despite decreasing popularity. Voters elect a national assembly, with the largest party then choosing the president. The Botswana Democratic Party faces a fragmented opposition, with its biggest challenge coming from the Umbrella for Democratic Change, a coalition led by the lawyer Duma Boko. 2 other parties have put forward candidates for president. Economic issues have dominated the campaign. Although Botswana is one of the wealthiest countries per capita in sub-Saharan Africa, a decline in global diamond markets saw its economic growth forecast for 2024 slashed to 1%. Opposition parties have criticized Masisi for the weakening growth rates, as well as high level of inequality and unemployment.
People are told to travel on veterinary vehicles, while Masisi gave 61 cars to BDP, but he failed to give a car to Tankani Clinic. Now you decide to vote out Masisi.
Youth unemployment is a key issue, with over 45% of young people jobless.
We are struggling with jobs. As I'm sitting here in this township, I'm actually a graduate, but I don't have any job. So I hope the future will be bright this time around, after these elections.
Young women are unemployed and they have higher education certificates at home. I wish the party I'll be voting for will create employment for young women, and it must produce new programs to benefit us more, especially those who are unemployed.
Botswana, the world top producer by value of diamonds, has struggled to diversify its economy. The Botswana Democratic Party development strategies focuses on increasing agricultural output and mineral processing, according to its manifesto. Masisi came to power in 2018 through a planned transition after his predecessor Ian Khama served the maximum 10 years in office. He then kept the job after a 2019 poll in which the Botswana Democratic Party won 38 out of 57 contested seats. Over 1 million people are registered to vote in the counties of some 2.3 million, according to the Electoral Commission. Peris Kigo, GBS News.
In a devastating incident in northern Gaza, an Israeli airstrike on a residential building has left at least 93 Palestinians dead, including over 20 children, with dozens more wounded. The Gaza Health Ministry reported the tragedy yesterday, prompting international reactions, including from the United States. Abdi Hamid Ali has more details.
In this distressing video, piles of bodies of deceased people wrapped in a blanket can be seen on the streets of northern Gaza. In Beit Lahia neighborhood, an Israeli airstrike on a 5-story building housing displaced families killed 93 people yesterday. This man is trapped in the rubble with concrete wires blocking him, while rescue workers who lack any proper tools do their best to save as many people as they can.
My sister, my brothers and sisters, my father-in-law and my son, all dead. God's sake, who do I have left? What more do they want? Let me live, but who shall I live for? What wrong have we committed? What is our sin, my God?
Rescue teams continue their search. Many victims remain trapped under the rubble. Ambulance and rescue teams face significant challenges in reaching those still buried under the rubble. The casualty figures were later confirmed by the Gaza government media office. However, Israeli officials have yet to comment. Hamas militias are still present in northern Gaza as they posted a video of detonating an Israeli military tank. Northern Gaza, in particular, has endured severe food shortages and hardships following an Israeli siege since early October, making the situation for its residents increasingly desperate. One of Gaza's last functioning hospitals is overwhelmed with seriously injured people and shortages of medical supplies. The airstrike comes a day after the Israeli parliament voted to ban UNRWA, a UN organization based in Gaza and the West Bank that provides humanitarian aid to Palestinians. The U.S. State Department spokesperson, Matthew Miller, expressed his concern regarding the move, and he also voiced concern about the deadly airstrike.
This was a horrifying incident with a horrifying result. I can't speak to the total death toll, but there are reports of 24 children killed in this incident. No doubt, a number of them are children who have been fleeing the effects of this war for more than a year now. We have reached out to the government of Israel to ask what happened here. We don't yet know the underlying circumstances. We have not gotten a full explanation from them about what happened.
Meanwhile, rescue efforts continues as more bodies and survivors are pulled from the wreckage, with residents joining emergency team to assist in the grim task of finding people dead or alive. This is Abdi Hamid Ali, GB.
At least 51 lives have been lost in southeastern Spain due to catastrophic flash floods triggered by relentless torrential rain. Especially in the Valencia region, a rescue effort unfolds. Officers fear the death toll may climb even higher, highlighting the severity of this natural disaster. Here is the full report.
In a catastrophic weather event, southeastern Spain is reeling from flash floods that have claimed at least 51 lives, with the town of Chiva near Valencia experiencing over a year's worth of rain in just 8 hours. Local officials describe the situation as dire, stating it is impossible to determine the final death toll as search and rescue efforts continue. Reports indicate that children are among the deceased, further heightening the tragedy of this disaster.
An entire house vanished. A house at the entrance of the town just disappeared, and at least 2 people, we don't know if they're still alive.
The relentless rainfall transformed rivers into torrents, wreaking havoc across the region. Social media footage captures the chaos, with floodwaters dragging cars through the streets and knocking down bridges. Authorities are urging residents to stay indoors and avoid travel unless absolutely necessary as conditions remain perilous. As rescue operations continue, authorities are closely monitoring the situation. The country is bracing for the possibility of further rainfall, raising concerns about additional flooding and its impact on recovery efforts. Irene Juguna, GBS News.
In a rally drawing tens of thousands in Washington, Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris delivered a message to her supporters on Tuesday night, warning that her Republican opponent Donald Trump seeks an unchecked power as race for presidency narrows in its final week. Here are the details.
Kamala Harris addressed a massive crowd near the White House, a spot symbolically significant as it was where Donald Trump spoke to his supporters before the Capitol attack on January 6, 2021. Trump claimed the 2020 elections was rigged.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
That so-called peaceful and patriotic voices were heard all over the world, except it wasn't. That day was enshrined in American history as a group of Trump supporters stormed the Capitol building where the Congress was certifying the election of President Joe Biden. Many of them believed Trump's false claim that the election was stolen. Harris is standing in the same podium Trump stood 3 years ago.
We know who Donald Trump is. He is the person who stood at this very spot nearly 4 years ago and sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol to overturn the will of the people in a free and fair election.
During the rally, Harris reminded the crowd about the theme of Trump's presidency.
On day one, if elected, Donald Trump would walk into that office with an enemies list. When elected, I will walk in with a to-do list.
While Harris rallied in Washington, Trump campaigned in a largely Hispanic city in Pennsylvania following a recent controversy over the comments about Puerto Rico, where a comedian said Puerto Rico is a floating garbage. Trump made no comments about the comedian's statement in his new rally.
Nobody loves our Latino community and our Puerto Rican community more than I do. Nobody. You know, it's interesting because I've done more for Puerto Rico than any president by far.
As a damage control following the aftermath of Sunday's rally, Trump brought in Senator of Puerto Rico, Zoraida Buxo, to address the crowd of potential voters at his rally.
It's an honor to share the stage with you, Mr. President. And we have some unfinished business to do with respect to Puerto Rico. And if there's a leader that can get us to a final resolution, that is you. That is you.
According to a new Reuters Ipsos poll, Harris' lead has now narrowed, with her holding a slim 44% to 43% edge among registered voters, making this final campaign week especially critical. This is Abdi Hamid Ali, GBS News.
Do keep your comments coming in through our SMS line 21144 and GBS TV Africa on all our social media handles. And now for sports lovers, it is time for your most anticipated part of the news, the sports news. Let's get sporty. The two-day FIFA Club Professionalization and Management Program that ended at Hyatt Regency Hotel in Nairobi has been lauded as a game-changer in the local football industry. Football Kenya Federation organized a training which involved officials from 18 FKF Premier League clubs, where the attendees were taken through paces on matters finance, governance and management. FKF President Nick Mwendwa alluded the Kenya for being at a good place in matters of development, with such high-level training coming to help club managers. FIFA management consultant Pedro Manuel Mirinda was categorical that organizational structure was important in driving clubs forward in terms of ambition. FIFA's overall goal is about creating a more competition-initiated football ecosystem globally, where a large number of football clubs from every region of the world compete at the highest level of the pitch. The concept, being NewSea's FIFA Club Professionalization and Management Program, introduced new initiatives from FIFA and will be held in person, as well as thanks to online sessions for the benefit of 12 African members associations: Algeria, Angola, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Egypt, Ghana, Kenya, Morocco, Nigeria, Tanzania, and Uganda.
From yesterday.
I think it's very important, and that's why you realize that it's only the chairman and the CEOs that were invited for this course, because it talks about overall professionalizing the clubs. As you know, previously we assumed so many things, and that's why we were lagging behind as a country. But for people who are running these clubs, especially the CEO day-to-day activity of the club, it was very important to go through all these sectors. You talk about commercialization, you talk about, you know, these issues of the structures, because there are some clubs that are one-man show. One person is the chairman, he's still the CEO, he does everything, he's the finance guy. But now we've been shown how these clubs are run.
This is very important for all the clubs in general. First, because to some extent, we thought that we were running professional clubs. But this has been an eye-opener, whereby you get to realize that there is more to running a football club in terms of structures than what we're used to locally. You'll find, for instance, a club has only maybe 2-3 guys who are employed, who run everything from end to end, which is not now the professional way of doing it as per FIFA and the training program that we've went through.
We want them to change, we want them to professionalize. If they don't have this kind of training that makes them corporates, it's impossible. We have to grow the people in the clubs. The people have to grow their clubs, grow the fan base, commercialize, you know, understand branding, understand how to grow their community, how to be competitive, where to go, how to grow players, especially in the area of growing players, and how to do the business of football, selling players, you know, sponsorships. This training is vital for that, and I think in these 2 days, FIFA found it fit to bring us this as a second country in Africa. And I'm thankful to them for doing that. I think it's going to be immense for us. The idea is to do it every year once, but also in 2026, there will be some 2 clubs here that will go to the US for the World Cup in 2026. And there will be training before the World Cup that FIFA will be doing with other clubs around the world to share their experiences. So you can imagine, you know, Gor Mahia going to be on the same table with Chelsea in 26. That's a picture we want.
Sporting believe Ruben Amorim's move to Manchester United is done. Sporting confirmed to Portuguese Stock Exchange on Tuesday that United are willing to meet €8.3 million release clause. Media flocked to his side's 3-1 win over Nacional. Amorim said they have to wait for the decision. Amorim, who has emerged as the leading candidate to replace Erik ten Hag at Old Trafford, has told Sporting he wants to move to United. Key figures from Manchester United are in Portugal as negotiations continue with Lisbon over their pursuit to Erik ten Hag's successor. It is understood the focus of the talks remains on the backroom staff Amorim may want to bring with him to Old Trafford. Sporting are defending their interest by making sure Amorim, who has a 30-day notice period in his contract, lives the right way after United told them they wanted to pay him €8.3 million release clause. Sporting are asking United to pay €4.15 million. Amorim leave immediately and a compensation for the 3 coaches Amorim wants to take with him to United. The coaches are Carlos Fernandes, Adelio Candido, and goalkeeper coach George Fito. Sporting fans were disappointed to discover that Amorim had a relatively low release clause on his contract for so-called big clubs. The fee is believed to be easily affordable for the richest clubs, and Sporting want to make sure they do not just roll over for United. That is why they are holding out for an extra €4.15 million. Sporting will make life easy for Amorim, and they were expecting him to stay until the end of the season. Manchester City and Spain midfielder Rodri was awarded the Men's Ballon d'Or on Monday after winning a fourth consecutive Premier League title and Euro 2024. But Real Madrid boycotted the ceremony. The decision to award the prize for the world's best player to deeper-lying midfielder came as a surprise, with Real Madrid's Liga and Champions League double winner Vinicius Jr. widely seen as the pre-ceremony favorite. Hours before the festivities in Paris, the Spanish club announced its delegation would not attend the ceremony at the Chalet Theatre because of what it perceived as a snub of Vinicius. Rodri, 28, played a key role as City held off Arsenal to win Premier League title last season and was named player of the tournament at the Euro 2024 as unfazed Spain emerged triumphant in Germany. Despite the French organizers insisting that the identity of the winner was a closely guarded secret this year, the news appeared to have leaked, with Madrid announcing hours before the ceremony they would not attend. Barcelona in Spain star Aitana Bonmati earlier won her second successive Women's Ballon d'Or after leading her club to a historic continental quadruple of titles and claiming the Nations League with her country. The drama started hours before the ceremony as Spanish and European champions Real said if Vinicius was not the winner, then the award should go to his teammate Dani Carvajal. Like the Brazilian, Carvajal scored 2-0 victory against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League final at Wembley. That sports news brings us to the end of our news segment tonight. Here at GBS News 9, we make your news our business. My name is Beatrice Njeri. Our sign language interpreter is Adams Minor. Good night.